Good afternoon, and it is my great pleasure to invite you all to EcoParadigm's first Expert Talk series. I'm going to start this session with two quotes. The first one by Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow, but learn as if you were to live forever." And the second one by Albert Einstein, who said, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." And it is with this purpose of learning and moving that we decided to have experts to come and talk to the team at EcoParadigm. And it is my great pleasure to invite Preeti Rao today. I will make a quick introduction about Preeti. Preeti, I would say, is an environmentalist and an eco-entrepreneur who runs a foundation called Soil and Soul, an organization that is engaged in bringing awareness about sustainability. Preeti has a postgraduate degree in marketing management and worked in corporate India before she decided to dive deep into sustainable living and teach others to follow this path. An interesting nugget about her is that she is also a yoga teacher from the Bihar School of Yoga and holds a black belt in Shotokan Karate and was also with the NCC. So very versatile person. The company that she founded, that is Soil and Soul, is involved in providing natural alternatives to chemical-based products that are used in our daily lives. Preeti, along with some like-minded individuals, have also recently founded the Bioenzyme Entrepreneurs Academy of India so that more and more people shift to sustainable alternatives. As recently as a few days back, Preeti was in the newspaper for taking up a massive drive of vetiver plantation in the Lal Bagh Gardens of Bangalore. And she can be found, or somewhere trying to rejuvenate a lake or something using bioenzyme. So EcoParadigm also has a similar mandate of paving the green way. Inspired by the Mobius strip, we aim to provide solutions to environmental problems which are sustainable, minimalistic, and resource efficient. Our DTS waste water treatment technology is an example of this philosophy. And who knows that after listening to Preeti, we could come up with more innovative ideas. So Preeti, we welcome you very warmly to this forum, albeit online. And before we start the webinar, we'll have a quick round of introductions so that Preeti is familiarized and knows who she's talking to. Okay, so a quick introduction from all the EcoParadigmers. You can unmute yourself and we can start with Ranjit.
Yes. Hi, ma'am. So good afternoon for everyone. So it's a very warm thing to have us this session on this bioenzyme thing. So myself, Ranjit. So I am working as a project engineer in EcoParadigm. So I have done my master's in environmental engineering too. So I'm looking forward with this webinar so that I can get some inside idea what we can do with the upcoming projects, what we have. That's it, ma'am. So over to Shalini now.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. Nice to meet you. I'm Shalini. I'm project engineer. I'm working in EcoParadigm, and I have done a Bachelor of Engineering in India.
Okay. So Ranjita.
Hello everyone, I'm Ranjita. I'm from Kurg. I have completed my BE in Rajam Institute of Technology, Hassan, in civil engineering, and completed my master's in environmental engineering. And I have been in EcoParadigm since Jan 2021 as a project engineer. Thank you.
Sibar. Hello, hi, I'm Simar. I'm more from a communication background, and I've been working for water for the last 7 years. And I've joined EcoParadigm partly to get trained in the technical side of how things work and how we can solve for these problems, and also to see how we can do some of the lake development projects and also look at projects outside the country, especially for low-income housing groups, slum board, and the like. And I'm very excited because I've been working on a film called Soil, Soul, and Society. So I'm very excited to see how you are taking the power of the natural world into the real world to solve some of the human-induced issues. So really, really excited for your program today, for your talk today. Thank you for coming. And thank you so much, Sangeeta, for organizing this. Yeah.
So Saish, are you there?
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. This is Saish from Goa. I work as a senior project engineer at ICUS. I'm based on a hazardous waste project that is coming up in Goa. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to hear your points in this session today. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So wonderful. We can all go into mute and welcome again, Preeti, and you can start your session, please. You're on mute. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this wonderful organizing the program here with all your engineers. And yeah, and it's a beautiful bridge because I feel, this sustainability has to go in hands with science, and it has to, when you have the backup of engineers who are technically sound, they are all, all of us can definitely bring in a lot of difference in our culture, society, and in the water and soil rejuvenation. So here I will talk a little bit about the kind of scientific bend to this enzyme and the vetiver, what we are trying to bring in to revive the water resource, and what the work we have done and how it can be practically implemented when we look into the decentralized water treatment system. So basically it's going to be like that. So I will share the presentation now. So yes, I do have, you can see this now, all of you, yeah? Okay, so
Yes.
I do have this organization, Soil and Soul Foundation, where we do a lot of the water reviving or the soil reviving kind of program practically on the ground level. But we also have this organization called Bioenzyme Entrepreneur Academy of India. So this organization focuses only on bioenzymes. So this presentation is through that. So so I will talk a little bit about this bioenzyme, and the experiment or the research has gone the way it can treat the wastewater system. So bioenzyme is the very simple fermented liquid from the kitchen. So it is the mix of fruit and the vegetable peels, sugar, jaggery, and water. That's it. And we just have to ferment it and we keep it. It definitely differs the way we use it. It is one of the liquid which is very versatile in the usage, and it has been when the research, they have found that this is one of the cheapest and economical and ecological method of treating the gray water. So so this we will be going through the research paper kind of, whatever they have done it, we will see that. So enzyme, we just don't make it and we use it in the treating the water. It has to be in a certain way, and they have found out 5 to 10% of these enzymes are which shows the best result in removing all these effluent from the water, and this water can be made for irrigation standard. So here the way this bioenzyme work, they have this very simple principle. So it is on catalysis, decomposition, transformation, and recombination. So whatever effluent is there, it works in that way. And you know what it does? It's just that it replenishes the microbes that were lost in the water. And how it is lost? It is lost because at home we use a lot of chemicals, and most dangerous chemical what we use is the toilet cleaner. So these are the harsh chemical, they are the reason for losing the oxygen into the water. And this microbes, they are just live microbes. The bioenzyme is nothing but a set of good live microbes. So you know, it increases the oxygen content in the water to make it, when it increases the oxygen content, that means it increases the aerobic bacteria in the water, and that's how it promotes in the growth of aquatic plant. And you know, it helps in surplus nutrients absorption. So just with enzyme, if you look at this, you know how it just increasing the oxygen or aerobic bacteria in the water, which is lost due to the chemicals, and it helps in growth promotion of the aquatic life. It is not just the plant, we have seen it increasing even in the aquatic life, the fish and all that also helps. And it accelerates the water to restore the ecological balance. When we say ecological balance, it is I'm talking about the microbial balances what we are lost in the water. So these are the one which helps in bringing the balance into the water system. So when you see this sludge stabilization, these are generally, I mean, I'm sure in eco paradigm, everybody is aware of this, how difficult or how expensive it is to use the chemical or the thermal methods. And ultimately it is, you know, spoiling our air quality. But the biological system, when we do, it is economical, it is definitely effective, and it is my internet is okay. So these are enzymes are introduced to us by Dr. Rosho Khan. She's in Thailand, and she's been promoting it through people like us or Dr. Join. You know, we are into the entire, I mean, we're just spreading the word that, you know, there are easy and economical method of handling the water treatment. So here these are not this, sorry. So this is, I'll just go through this, the experiment or the research which has gone into 1 minute. So which has gone through for reviving the water through the enzyme. So this is just the value of the gray water which has been experimented. The pH of water is the, you know, it was like this: TDS value, BOD, COD, ammonia, nitrogen, phosphate, and coliform. Whatever, these are the few data on parameter on which the bioenzyme has been tested. And here is the result after treating. So what happens? They did it for the two different concentration, 5% of the water and the 10% of the gray water. And you know, it's like if you keep the enzyme for 60 days, the result is different after filtration. Immediate filtration, after 60 days of filtration, 30 days of filtration, and after 60 days of filtration. So these are the thing what this is just for the 5 days of treatment with bioenzyme. These are the parameters what is been tested, and these are the results for 5% and 10%. And the result is, you know, when you do it with 10% of bioenzyme, it is more effective. Now, if you see compared to irrigation standard, whatever is allowed, so it goes into that.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I had a question here.
Yeah.
This is for sewage, or what is the input quality that you're saying?
This is just the simple STP, the synthetic gray water from the STP, what has been taken and done with the research.
So
And yeah,
this is treated gray water, not black, in the sense not black water from the toilet. This is
it
gray
is
water.
that
It is treated, I think, from the STP.
it
That's
is
what you're
for the
saying.
sludge stabilization. Yes.
Okay.
See, if you talk, if you see this, we are talking about sludge stabilization, and so it is based on that.
So it is during the, I mean, after the STP treatment, whatever you get, the water, you're treating that with the bioenzyme.
Yeah, so enzymes can be, what I have understood, I don't know much the engineering of STP, but what I have understood, the fresh place where the first, the tank where all the water comes, if we start putting enzyme there, and after, after certain process, after so many chambers when it goes, there is a place where it gets stabilized, right? So there, if you leave it for 5 days, or if you start treating it, that is more effective. And once from there, when it goes to the open, where the water has gone into, it goes through gravel and some phyto remediation. So there, it also can be used along with that. So we will talk about the phyto remediation also. So these are into bioremediation, what I'm talking right now. And from, initial stage where the anaerobic process is happening. And after that, when it goes to open, before tertiary treatment, this can also be treated during that time.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is what it shows. So, if you leave it for 30 days, I mean, the enzymes are effective. If we leave it for, after filtration, we leave it for 60 days. So here I'm talking, now we are going back to the phytoremediation, where the vetiver system has been, sorry. So here we are talking about the vetiver, because the vetiver is very effective. If you find, I mean, it has many parameters, it works for the soil stabilization, it works for reviving the soil quality, it works for absorption of heavy metals from the water. So in our recent project where we did it in Ganga, there were a lot of the drainage which is directly flowing into the river. So all that drainage, we have put this vetiver. It may not be 100% because it needs a certain type of containment area where it is where you leave the water for some time and then it flows into the river. But all that was not into our scope, so we just did it along the drainage which is flowing into the river. So the idea is the heavy metals can be absorbed by the roots of these vetiver. So these are the a few characteristic of vetiver. This we are doing it now. We have started doing it in Bangalore. Almost 7 lakes we have put it on the bunds of the lake for reducing the soil erosion. So when you put it on the soil, instead of making those stone bunds, what usually we see it in Bangalore, the stone bund which actually reduces or it interrupts the soil ecology or the lake ecology. So here we are trying to improve the lake ecology so that the lake takes care of itself. We don't have to interfere it again and again. It can revive, it can survive all by itself when we manage the dirty water which is flowing into our lakes, or we manage the bunds, or wherever there is an interference with the lake ecology, that if we can manage, I think lake will take care of itself. So here in Bangalore, we are doing it on the lakes. The 7 lakes we have done. the vetivers on the bunds, and we have treated the water, existing water, with enzymes. Uh, so here it also works on the, since I'm talking about stabilization, the soil stabilization, it also has been used in making the roads. So when we say roads, it is not in the tar what we are using it. It is before applying the tar, before we put the lay the tar road, the enzymes are put, or even enzymes are put, and but this vetiver is for the slope stabilization even in the roads and the bridges. And I'm talking about road stabilized soil stabilization uh, by spraying the enzymes on the soil. Then the connectivity between the soil and the tar is uh, much better than what we see today. And it also helps in decontaminate polluted land and water. So, we have huge area of land. I mean, I have seen it in Coorg, not Coorg, sorry, Kolar, our mine area, where because of mining, the huge land area which has been contaminated. So, this vetiver can definitely add on the life to that acres of barren land, which is, and because of that barren land, lot of this breath related issues people are facing. And I was actually surprised to see there are a lot of, I mean, those soil in Kolar also has cyanide. So, any breeze which flows through that, when the soil, it goes into the home, it is going to the homes around. But there are ways of handling it in a very, very simple methods. The vetiver and enzyme can revive the entire ecosystem there. So the leaves are also used as a biomass for handicraft. It is also for the food, for fodder for the cattle. It they can also be used as a fuel in future. The biofuel, what you're looking at. The roots are definitely better to improve the water pH. So today when we see the RO water what we drink, that also is acidic. So if you add the root into that RO filtered water, your water is again goes back to alkaline. It helps in improving the soil fertility and the carbon sequestration. So these, there are trees which definitely absorbs the carbon from the atmosphere what we have, carbon dioxide. But these grasses, they grow faster. They grow very fast. It's faster than the trees. It grows 10 times faster than the trees. And it has the capacity which is around 4.5 times more than the trees of absorbing the carbon from the atmosphere. So when you see, these kind of properties of vetiver and enzymes, is definitely these two are, I can see it as a very good solution for using it either in reviving our water or reviving our soil, and of course the air. So here these are the data which talks about the vetiver in compared to the other grasses or the trees when it comes to how it absorbs the nitrogen and phosphorus. This is the per year data, and these data are from vetiver.org, where the lot of research which has happened on vetiver has been put there for public use. These are just the open source. It's only that we need to start compiling these and bring these in our daily usage more and more. So these are the vetiver. You can see the kind of nitrogen it absorbs, the phosphorus it absorbs, and compared to other trees or the grasses. So the performance of vetiver is definitely far ahead than any other grass. I will also show you a river which has been revived just by vetiver, and that was one of the most polluted river on earth. We'll go through that as well. So this is hydroponic treatment. Again, this is from the sewage. This is happening in Vietnam. It is not from India. So after treating the black water or the sewage water, I can call, when it comes for this phytoremediation, this is where the vetivers have been planted, and it absorbs all the heavy metals from the water before it goes for further treatment, or it can be used for irrigation. So this is the effluent quality before and after vetiver treatment. The pH, the dissolved oxygen, you can see the 5 days of treating BOD. These are this one, suspended solid, so total nitrogen and total phosphorus. So these are the data which shows, how different it is when it comes in and when it goes out, how it is reviving the water. I've been talking about, this, using it for our Vrishubhavati or for our lakes also. These are very effective and very economical methods. And today, when the earth is on fire, I think we need such solutions. And we don't have much time. And either it's nothing to do with, me personally. It is, I think, all the humans who are on earth, it is our duty now. We are on fire, and we have, say, just 20 years now. To whatever we have to do it on a massive, way to handle this kind of our fire. And here, this is the collaborative data what I have put, how bioenzyme and vetiver, if you can see the data, the combination of these two can definitely be a revolutionary, what I feel. And we've been actually, that's the only reason we've been promoting these two methods in our lakes. On a larger scale, and this STP can definitely be handled in a very more effective way with this. It's just that bioremediation followed by phytoremediation, and I know EcoParadigm does this phytoremediation, but we need to add more of these vetivers. Yeah, and even in the lake revival, when we are talking about the lake revival, there are very few or maybe handful of lakes in Bangalore which doesn't have the inflow of the sewage water. So all that, the wetland development for the lake before it gets into the proper lake, all that is so much required. This definitely enhances the aquatic life, and aquatic life is, again, it's an integral part of any lake revival system. It is, I'm not just talking about the beautification of the lake. We need to revive the ecology. We need to, because lake is a part of our ecology. The trees, the grass, the flowers, these are all the part of our ecology. And we need to bring all that more and more. And everything has to go around with the local native vegetation, or the local variety of treatment. We don't need anything from outside. It has to be the sustainable method. It has to be with the sustainable ingredients, the part of it for reviving. So if you see these parameters, and I'm sure this works. And we are not, vetiver is definitely a part. I've seen it in many STPs they use, but I think we need to use it more along with canna and other phytoremediation plants what we use. So this is another vetiver filter tank construction. So these are, you can see this green one. So, they put the plants into it, the vetiver, and it floats with that dirty water. And there is a channel to go through, the way STP water goes through, and it goes through the cleaning of this, and it goes through the process, and we get the clean water. So this is the river. This is the YouTube. I've given the link also below. In case it doesn't play here in the presentation, this is a YouTube channel. It is there in the YouTube. This is a river in Indonesia, which has which is very dirty and stinking. It's something like a Vrishabhavati, I can say. And everything got revived just with vetiver. Can you hear the sound also? Audio? Yeah.
Yes.
Not very clear, but it's okay. We can see the visuals. The audio is not there because I think the settings will
You can't hear?
no.
We can't hear the audio.
So that you may have to change your audio setting to stereo mix.
Yeah. Okay. So I will share this link of the video. So probably you can see it later. So you know what it says? See, this river was full of all these heavy metals from the sewage, from the industry, a nearby industry, the production industrial state and all that. So it's just with the vetiver, treatment of these water with the vetiver, it has revived the river. And today the entire river is actually living. It is that beautiful. So we did some work in Ganga with this. See, these are the few lakes what I've been putting enzymes and okay. Now the top one is the Talbag. The second, the main picture, what you see, what we have done it in Ganga. So this is like, you know, we have done so many kilometers now of vetiver plantation. It has been planted even in the sewage which is entering the Ganga, so that, you know, it gets treated with the root before it enters the main river. And this corner where you see two children, so this is the STP. Again, you can see there are some plant behind that. They're all phytoremediation. And here we do use enzymes also. After phytoremediation, we use enzyme which can, before it gets into tertiary filtration. This enzyme has been poured in Ganga, and down what you see is the vetiver grass. It looks beautiful. And this is a place in Marathwada. Marathwada, it was around, you know, one of the driest place in India. So just after putting this vetiver and 3 years after vetiver plantation, this place has got water, it has got wildlife, and it has gone wild. So the entire, if I say the ecological successor, this is the ecological succession. So, you know, we can actually revive, and this is what is required today. That is what I've been trying to say. So this is what I had to say, that, you know, integration of enzymes and vetiver is definitely a way forward for our water and for our soil. So how eco paradigm helps us in going forward, that we need to see.
So Yeah. you
So
can
this
mention.
is our contact detail. If you want to go through it, our website, what work we have done, and about the enzyme, it's all there.
I had some questions.
Yes, please.
You can answer.
A, a, a couple of them, like, so, like when you're treating a lake, how much of the bioenzyme do you put in, and how often?
So it depends on how the water is, because every lake is different and every water has a different content. So right now we haven't done, it goes with our visual appearance of the lake. So the way we know how the process goes, once you apply enzyme and you treat the enzyme, how the water behaves with that, and when do you need to put the next dose. It's seen. So it some lakes who are very dirty, so it say we need to apply every week. But for few lakes we apply once in 15 days. So there is nothing fixed. But yes, on the visual appearance of the water, once it is clear, and if we have to maintain it, we use it once in a month after
Right.
it gets clean. So it depends on how the water is. So looking at the way water is behaving with enzymes, we choose the dosage, how much and what is the quantity of water in the lake, how big the lake is, and if there is any inlet, do we have to add vetiver into it, or all these are a lot of parameters when we do it. We just don't go and pour it. It just doesn't come into container. I'll tell you, okay, you go pour it and it is done. No. So it is a very slow biological process. And when we are working with the ecology, I think we need to be patient to, and let the nature take over. We are just here to give a push, give a healing, methods for it to revive by itself and survive by itself. We don't want to touch that again and again. We need to give the permanent solution to it.
So
And
Preeti,
yeah, that is where we are.
so Preeti, excellent presentation, very interesting. I'm Praveen Jain.
Hi,
Yeah.
Praveen.
Hi. It's good to know that you're working in the same space. It's also always good to work with nature. My question was, if it is a lake, what are the parameters you need even for the first iteration? What parameters do you need as input to just decide on a test? I know you have to work with it, you have to monitor, you may have to adjust the dosage, but to get the first cut solution, what is the inputs you need as far as the lake is concerned? Obviously the inflow would be a parameter.
Okay, so parameter, what I usually look into is a very simple one. I'm not looking into the chemical, about the TDS, BOD, COD. That I don't even look. But what I look at, whether it's a natural water resource or it is a man-made. I mean, where there is a soil below the lake, or it is a cemented lake, or it is a swimming pool, or it is a flowing water. So based on that, I decide, I mean, if there is any inflow of water, is it a continuous inflow of gray water into the lake? So all this thing I do see, and based on that we apply. So it's
Got it.
like
So
how big the lake is.
I know the combinations are a lot, but
Yeah.
let's look at Kundrali Lake, one which has got a soil bottom. There's a
Huh.
continuous inflow of sewage.
Yeah.
Let's say 6 million liters every day.
Yeah.
So because
So
otherwise
for the,
you can't
yeah,
decide anything.
yeah.
But soil is clear, there is no concreting. It is a natural lake, and you have an inflow always. It is sewage
Yeah.
during the normal time. Yeah. And what would you need?
So for that, first I would make the wetland. I would make the wetland, where we restrict the flow of, restrict in the sense, it's not that I'm stopping the flow of inlet, but it comes in a slow way. It gets treated at certain level, and then apply enzyme to the treated water in the main lake.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't overdose with enzyme. We take it the small quantity of enzyme initially, and then keep changing, keep seeing how it is performing in the water, and then keep applying it. The dosage could be once in 4 days, once in a week, or maybe once in a 10 days. It all depends on the quality of water. Now, the quality of water is something what Eco Paradigm has to keep the track. I don't have a lab.
No, that's true. Why I'm asking is, see, I know the variables associated with environmental engineering, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at a very
Praveen, your voice is very low, Praveen.
Yeah. No. Can you hear me?
Little.
Yeah. No, what I am looking at is a very specific one lake,
Yeah.
which has got 6 million liter inflow. It is
Huh.
sewage. It is sewage.
Hmm.
And the lake is natural. It is bottom as soil. Now, if I have to talk to a client, I need to tell him, okay, this is the type area of wetland which I have to do. The lake itself has got 30 acres water spread area.
Okay.
30 acres, 6 million liter coming in daily. One big inlet of 6 million liter. Now, if you're talking about in 30 acres, how many acres is the wetland? It could be wet, it could be anything, but how many acre of wetland?
So for we did one like this in Delhi.
Yeah.
One project, okay, and there it is not even a lake. It is outskirts of Delhi with all. They have just made a space where all the sewage water comes and accumulates. That's all. So there we took the help of fire brigade. The one full fire brigade. The quantity of water, I think it was some lakhs of liter or something. So in that we added some enzyme and we diluted enzyme and then we sprayed it and it worked.
Correct. So even if you look at the Delhi example, what is the area of the water body? How much was it? How many acres?
Water body is almost, it's 80 acres.
80 acres water body.
Yeah.
And few lakhs of liter. And how much was the enzyme you spread?
So we say around 1 lakh liter of enzyme.
Then what does it cost and approximate cost?
No, this actually it was, I didn't take it as a cost that time because it was our initial project. So we did it ourselves. Yeah.
Right?
So when we do it for lakes, we definitely work on the cost, which is viable and which is not very expensive. You need a lot of enzyme for that, but the regular supply is definitely it's needed. So if you say it won't be more than,
Yeah, more than how much?
It won't be more than some $100 a liter or something, but that you have to dilute it. You know, you have to dilute it and use it. It won't be like, you know, you just put it 100 liters.
But even if you're looking at 100 rupees a liter, how many liters are needed for, let's say, 1 million liter of sewage?
So 1 million liters?
Yeah.
So it's basically we dilute it as 1:100, not 100. For the lake, it is 10,000. Sorry, for 10,000 liter, 1 liter.
1 liter per
10,000. 1:10,000 liter.
I'll just interrupt. We will stop the recording. I'll thank Preeti and we will take the questions after we stop the recording.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So because I'll use it for YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks so much, Preeti, for having come over. And I think it was an extremely enlightening talk. And the way, you know, the natural systems can be used to clean our soil and water. And thank you from all of us from Eco Paradigm. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think we should interact a little more.